Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. All right, we back with another trade recap. This week was made some pretty stupid mistakes. Okay, but they're all fixable. They're fixable mistakes that you can have, that I can make up for. It's not a big deal. I just got to come back, reevaluate things, understand where you're at in the market, understand where you're at in the trading game, right? Yeah, but let me show you what the month is looking like. Took some hefty losses, especially on Wednesday. Wednesday was CPI and core CPI and regular CPI data, and I traded it. Expected news didn't come in hot at all, so I was expecting more downside, and I got killed for it. You know what I mean? But that's okay. Tuesday. This is just a little recap. So Wednesday, huge loss. I already went over Tuesday's last video. Wednesday, huge loss. Trading news, right? Thursday, this could have been a clean day for me, but I took some more stupid trades that I shouldn't have, but I'm gonna explain it later. And today could have been a disaster of a day, but I didn't let that affect me when I was looking at my charts for the next setup. But there was always things I can learn from it. We just gonna break it down. I have my tunes in the back, so hopefully it ain't too crazy. Let me turn it down. I don't want it to be blasting in here. All right, so first we're gonna start with the 10th, and that was Wednesday. Okay, so that was Wednesday. So this was news day. You can see this beautiful red candle, right? Push all the way down, bounce. So what did I think coming into the morning? I was like, oh yeah, news came in hot. We ain't getting no rate cuts, none of that. Inflation's gonna go up higher. Interest rates are gonna shoot through the roof. All that was on my mind, so I'm like, I'm not missing this. This is gonna be juicy. We're gonna break this 433 as well, and we're gonna get more downside, more blood in the water is to be seen, because news was not hot. So coming into the morning, I got my SPY, and I got my NASDAQ. I'm not paying attention to anything besides those numbers that came in at 0.4 on the news report. So I said, okay, bam, we come in the morning, I'm shorting. I already had a short bias, and I went in heavy. I really went in heavy here, right? 2 times, not once, but twice. Boom, heavy, 10 contracts, stopped out. And those contracts were elevated. Like they had I believe it's data on those contracts were like through the roof. Because it was a significant day, right? So I took a loss quick. Come back in today. I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a fake out. You know what I'm saying? It's a fake out. So we see. I'm looking at what's happening here. I see this nice blood in the water candle, right? So I enter again based off of news. That's it. I'm like 37 is a nice key level, which it really is, but news invalidates technicals. So I entered it again. Trigger happy. Another 10. Boom. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing my contracts move. I'm like, oh yeah. thinking in my head, oh yeah, this is money. Let's run it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Boom, snap back. At this point, I'm like, dang. I exited the position again, right? That was this zone right here. In the matter of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, let's just say 20, 30 minutes. Lost, what was it? $400, just about. $400 there. Took another short. Got stopped out. Okay, so this was just stupidity here. There was no real read that I should have said, yeah, you need to go short. So I'm gonna break it down. What happened? So I understand I lost here based off of news, me thinking that we're gonna just continue downwards, right? We broke a key support zone, right? Support turns into resistance, but we didn't see that. Okay, so what I should have done, right, if I were to be short, is make sure that both my NASDAQ and ES are at my levels, right? So at this point at 1056 in the bottom, 1056 is the only trade that I should have took if I wanted to be short. Why is that? Because at 1056, both the ES or NASDAQ is at a zone, right? Underneath a zone. And the SPY also dropped our zone as well. Rejection at a rejection point, right? That's the only time I should have been if that was my idea, right? To be short. Because both of the SPY, the NASDAQ, and ES were in correlation with each other. Obviously, it would have been a wrong trade anyways, but it wouldn't have been as bad. I probably would have lost, $100, 160 here, not 495, 491, whatever it was. Yeah, so this should have been my only short if I was short, which I was. Only short was here. That was the only short idea that I should have partaken, right? That, and also here at 1328. I don't know what time that is, military time, but 1328 or whatever freak time it is, but still in the day, whatever. No, that is. Now I'm thinking about it because market is open 2 hours early. So so that's at I think so, right? Yeah, maybe because market opens up at 7:30. No, 6:30. 7:30. Yeah, so at 11 would have been another opportunity. The only opportunity I should have been taking if I was short, right? Because you can see at 1328, 1128 basically. We see we're at a zone rejection, at a rejection zone as well. 2 trades that I should have been in here. This one, if I was short, which would have been a loss, obviously, but it's a better chance of me making profit at those zones, right? More of an A+ setup than going based off of news saying, let me just shoot here. Okay. So these are my only 2 areas that I should have been looking at, either shorts or longs, right? Because this is where decisions are made, and they're both in correlation with each other. The Qs are at a zone, the SPY's at a zone. And you can see all of them had reactions here, right? And that would have been profitable on those plays, okay? And that's kind of going to be the baseline of the rest of the day. So Tuesday, sorry, not Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, this was a Thursday was okay. It was an iffy trade. This was an iffy trade. A trade that I probably won't take again because it's iffy, right? If I'm playing off my principles, spy, and the Qs must be at a zone where decisions are to be made, right? Whether you're long or short. Okay. So I'm looking at Nvidia. Nvidia is at a key zone, right? For me, right? Nvidia has had reactions here before. We rejected once, we rejected twice. I was gonna see if we got the break, and I did enter on the break, but I kind of disregarded the SPY, right? Nasdaq at that same time, 1040, Nasdaq broke above a key or was maintaining a key zone. Okay, so I entered just based off of the Nasdaq and my Nvidia level that I had, right? But I say it's iffy because we were nowhere near this 512 on the SPY, right? We already caught the move, and this we've been seeing some downside early morning, and this could have simply been a downside move, pull back for a retest to see if we really wanted to bounce here or hold here. So that's why I say it's iffy. And if that would have happened, this could have easily fell back over, right? And I'd have to take a loss, both of them. But I was able to catch this move. I seen the demand step in, but like I said again, I shouldn't have been long here. I shouldn't have been long here because we weren't near my zone on the SPY before I entered long. Okay, so that was the SPY, my SPY trade. And okay, yeah. So I'm up 260 on this. I did play it to my zone and sold. Okay, now I'm up 260, right? Boom. Could have walked away smiling, grinning all day, in love with the charts, like, oh, look at this play I made. You know what I'm saying? It was nice. It was a good play. It was a decent play. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a decent play. But at the time, I was like, oh, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Look at this entry. You know what I mean? Feeling real good. Could have walked away 260. Boom, bam. Played it, bounced off my zones, played it to my zone, end the day happy. Okay, but guess what? Guess what I did? At 12 o'clock, I entered in shorts. Okay, I didn't like how I understood we caught a bounce, right? But this was a slow grind higher, right? And we seen early in the morning, we chopped, and then we had some downside come in, step in. Okay, so here I'm like, let's go. I'm in short. I'm not paying attention to the video. I already did that trade. I'm in short here as soon as we come in our level. So I go in, pretty heavy. I want to say like 6 contracts. Boom. We get the break. I have to respect it. I cut my loss. Okay. Then I come again. I'm like, okay, this could just be a fake out for more downside. So I enter in shorts again. And I was like, okay, this could end up bad here, right? So I cut my losses once again. Okay. So that's why I ended up with $88 on that day. Stupid trades. And if I look back at it, I shouldn't have been entering anything here. Why? Because Nasdaq is in the middle of a channel, right? We're not at a demand zone, and we're not at supply. We are right in the middle of the channel. Our channel. Right in the middle. Smack middle. So at this point, it's a 50-50. We don't know which way it can go. It can continue higher. It can drop. It can consolidate through this middle. Like there's no decisions that are big decisions are being made here, right? And I should have never been in this because, like I said, we're not at a demand resistance, and we're not at demand. Okay, so that was a trade I should have never took, and I would have still been up 260. Okay, now a trade that I could have took was this at 11:14, which is 13:14 here. 11:14 my time. This should have been the only trade that, if I was gonna take another trade, is where I would have took a trade. You know, we seen the break of 517. Okay, we're right at the rejection zone here, right? So this is where the decision is made. Whether you're long or you're short, it's up to you. You know. And you could have caught a nice little move if you were long here. So this should have been my only next trade idea, because we're at a zone. Both of the Nasdaq and the ES are both at a zone, critical zone, and that's that. Okay. So that was Thursday. Took a nice win on Nvidia, 260, just to give it all back in 2 trades. Okay, and today. Okay, today was rough. It really was rough. I took another stupid trade, but this is before. I'm not gonna lie. What I do is, if I take a loss, I kind of get into that mode. Like, okay, yeah, no, this is too hard. I'm done. You know what I mean? But if I really think about it, I have to. It's a must look at both of these charts and see where we're at. Not just, especially on the individual stocks. We're at a zone on Nvidia. In my head, I'm like, okay, 890, 880 was like pretty solid. We broke through it yesterday and just continued higher. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if we just pull back to this zone, this is potential long, right? This is a potential long. And you know, I took that risk, that gamble right here, at 1020, and I entered in longs. Right, I was up, you know, I was up on this position. Okay, we pulled back, and I added another contract here, pulled up, and we broke below. Why? Because at 1020 here. 1020, so at 820 my time, where are we at? The ES is right in no man's land. We're not near support, nor are we at resistance, right? Supply, demand. Okay. We're not there. We're nowhere near it. So this was a terrible trade. 50 ball trade. And I know that there's sometimes that Nvidia outperforms the market, but I'd rather take trades that are in correlation with the market. And yeah, so this was a trade that I had no business entering. And that's my fault, because I wasn't paying attention to where the Qs were, or where SPY was, or Nasdaq, ES, whatever. Okay, so that happened. That trade happened. Okay, so I'm down. I lost pretty heavy on this, so I'm down about 2 to 240-ish off of this break. You know, the contracts start going south. So I took my loss, and I'm like, dang, okay, that's a hefty loss. You know, it really did. Like, I was like, dang, what am I doing? And I said, okay, well, we're just gonna look at the next trade, right? Day's not over with. Put this behind me, and let's really analyze the market, right? Came back into the day, set my alert for the Qs. The Qs, I set my alerts for the push down to our zone, and another zone for the SPY. SPY has been, I know it hasn't been coming into my to my blue zone down here, but I respect that it doesn't have to, right? Because if this was where it wants to catch a bounce, that's where it's gonna catch a bounce. We're near my zone. Okay, so this should have been my first trade. This should have been my first trade, not here, because we're in no man's land up here. We're below at that same time, 1020. We're below. We're underneath the supply zone, right? So this is screaming rejection, right? You can't hope that we're gonna get the break. This is screaming rejection until we get the break, right? Break, retest, higher highs. Okay. So that's where I went wrong. I played off of hoping that we got this pop off of my zone. But I disregarded the NASDAQ futures and the ES futures. So that's what I get. So took that $260 loss to the chin. Came back later in the day, set my alerts. My alerts hit, told me that we're at a zone. I'm looking at the Qs. I'm looking at SPY, and I'm seeing that we're seeing a reaction here, right? And I'm looking at Nvidia. Nvidia's at an 880 level, 882, 883 level that I've had on my charts for the longest. So I took another shot. Boom. Took a shot here. Played it all the way up to my Nvidia level, and that's at 990, 890. Making everything back. It would have been nice if this would have been my initial entry, right? Yeah, it just would have been nice if this was my first entry here. But now moving forward, I know I seen it happen for the past 3 days on iffy trades that I took in. And we just gonna make it. We just gonna do better for Monday. So that was my breakdown of the last 3 days. And yeah, so note to self: wait for the correlations in the market for the better trades. Right? This should have been my first trade today, but not this first trade here. Boom. On Thursday. This right here. There was no trade here. Sorry. Yeah, there was no trade here other than this 413, right? 13. Nope. There was no trade here either. Oh, this is in the video. That's why. Let me see. All right, bam. What is this? 11th. Yeah. So 413. Yeah, this was my only trade here that was a decent trade, right? That you could have seen a pop off of. Not here at 12. Why? Because where are we at 12? We're in the middle of a zone. This can go either way, down or up, or it can consolidate. So my only trade that I should have been interested in was at 11, 14, 13, 14, right here. Why? Zones. We're at our zones where decisions are made. And on Wednesday, this right here should have been my only trade. At least my first trade, not only trade, but my first trade at 10:56. 10:56. Why? Because we're at where decisions are made. Another trade opportunity at 13:28. 13:28, because we're at where decisions are made. So now moving forward, we're gonna play off of our zones and wait for both of them to be in correlations, because we've seen it. I've seen it happen at every last one of these levels. We've seen something. So yeah. But that's how my week ended. I'm not mad at all. You know, it's a learning lesson, and we're just gonna have to just correct it. This isn't all end all be all. These are simple mistakes to fix, and hopefully next week on Monday we come in hot, taking quality A+ setups that correlate with the market. And yeah, but that's it for this video. This was a longer one, but I needed this for myself, to be honest, to kind of look at analyze my trade, because after I took this loss, I didn't look at the charts again. Actually, I looked at the charts, but like didn't really analyze it after it. Yeah, but we off the work vibes. Got our analytics in, and now we're gonna shower and go to sleep. All right, peace.